freedom, love and romance for single men, the full story. We have another video report from lovingthaiwoman.com. What I love about Thailand. G'day guys, TJ back again. Whatever you initially think of Thailand, you've got to end up loving it. Thailand is remarkably free of nanny state governance or tree huggers, and it is a breath of fresh air to live in such an environment. In most Western countries, we are told what to do and what not to do, and we cannot make a decision or do anything without some sort of qualification ticket or certification. Yes, the added pain to this is that you'll need to pay money to someone for whatever certification that decision-making requires. Added to the pain of such restriction, we have a greater population that looks to blame someone else for something that their common sense should have prevented, and consequently they also tend to sue, or at least threaten to sue, at the drop of a hat. In essence, we've now accepted stupidity as the norm. Alternately, Thailand is a place of personal responsibility. Thais are relatively free from revenue raising from police on roads, hammering home the need to source such a stream of cash under the guise of road safety. There are a few road signs or unnecessary barriers that litter the landscape, telling us what to do or what not to do, of which can be seen seemingly everywhere in the Western world, and what could now almost be called a signed urban environment. Simply because you have signs, most of them ridiculous signs, with what seems like about every 25 metres or less. The urban landscape is just littered with them. Not so in the Thailand landscape. Moving on to food. Food in Thailand is awesome, and by Western standards is superior in taste, health and cost by a long, long way. Food kitchens, however, are a lot different, which are in stark contrast to the Western world. In the Western world, if you have a cockroach in the kitchen, you're out of business. In an Asian kitchen, and let me say Asian kitchen is used with the loosest of terms, and only for description only, but in an Asian kitchen, if you haven't got a cockroach in the kitchen, that's the cook place or place of wok really, then basically you're not in business. Cockroaches are just part of the life here. It could also be said a dog and a cat, or both, and every now and again a rat might be in the kitchen too. And guess what? No one dies. Everyone simply cooks, eats, gets on with their day. It's just the norm here. There's no hoo-ha, hell of a low. There's no called the food police, the food inspectors, and everyone will die. There's no scare tactics. There's no headlines and papers. It's just what is here. It's just a fact of life. The dog lays in the shade, the cat finds a comfortable sleeping corner in the kitchen somewhere, and the rats run to the next feed source. Get on with life. People don't go about their day either, dictated by news headlines they see on TV. Back home, it's a news headline from one day to the next, and ridiculous headlines at that. Journalists have a way of using or extracting, or not so much extracting, but misappropriating the use of words, particularly when it comes to politicians, but get any newsworthy event and they sensationalise everything. It just drives you nuts. Not so here. In the workplace, they conduct OHS on a common sense and personal responsibility basis, and yes, while that might need some work, it's not like the massive governing and at times ridiculous, overpowering, expensive and restrictive requirements that are required in the West to get work done. And funnily enough, they do it with extraordinary safety when it comes to incidences. Sure, the workplace you'll shake, when you see a workplace, you'll shake your head, but common sense, maybe not even common sense, just careful work practice, I guess, here, and get the job done. It's just there's no overbearing governance of how you do things. And like I said, there is a bit of work to be done on that. Obviously, it could be improved, but they just go about their day. It's just it's a relaxing environment. Let me put it that way. It's what I love about Thailand. There's some many other things, should I say, is what I love about Thailand, and save talking too much and raving on it too much here, because I could go on forever. Let me just share a few pictures with you and let me explain on the way just as to why I love this country. And this is just a random selection of pictures. And this first one is 44-gallon drums, or 210 litres or 201 litres, whatever they are nowadays, of fuel. This is outside of a bike shop. Now, if you look, well, there's the sticker on it. There's the fuel sticker. And if you look one way, that's quite a busy street, actually, 6 feet from the street. If you look the other way, there you go, there's the street going down the other way. Now, can you imagine in the West, if you stored fuel out the front of your shop 6 feet from a busy highway? Someone would be having kittens, it would make the nightly news, and there'd be uproar. This is just commonplace, once again, common sense. Drivers here, there's no, I guess in the West you've got to protect yourself from idiots who... on the roads, they're idiots. Here, sure, they may not be able to drive that well, but there's no road rage here. Everyone's placid. Things just work, and you expect a bike coming down the wrong side of the road here. So no one gets upset. No one really speeds. No one toots horns. And I just haven't seen any road rage here. It just doesn't happen in the West. So. Yeah, and the fuel bins, the fuel drums out the front, that'll be a huge no-no. Here, it's just, that's life, get on with it. So the relaxed status of life here, it's just one of the things I love about Thailand. Now, cop a look at this. Now, can you imagine that being roadworthy? Now, I was going to take some closer-up pictures of this, but basically that's a homemade bike. It did have 2 wheels at one stage, and he's decided to add 2 at the front. Now, the alignment of both those front wheels don't align, either horizontally or vertically. I don't think they've actually even got brakes on them. I know I'm guessing the back one would have the original brake on it. Here you see he strapped a car seat, and by the looks, it's got hockey straps that keeps that seat in place. Up here, he's got a steering wheel. That green covers a steering wheel, and that's sort of on the handlebars. Why, I'm not sure. He's got some sunglasses out the front there for, well, that must be his windscreen. Now, the trailer's a 3-wheel contraption, and there's a wheel at the back here you can't see. He goes around collecting rubbish, really, bottles and cans and plastic bottles, and that's how he makes his living. And, I've been in Shanghai for 12 months. This guy's been on the road that I've seen this thing getting around, and it always seems to change. He has some sort of addition to it. It's just blowing more smoke from the first time I saw it, but that's either roadworthy and allowed to be on the roads, or it's just turned a blind eye. He just puts along at about 10 kilometres an hour. I don't think it's rated for any more than about 10 kilometres an hour. Slight pun there. However, it just happens. It's everybody works here. There's no security support system here, so everyone has to do something and to earn a quid to make a living. So the standard pay here is less than $10 a day. So this guy's out making a living, and this is just what happens here. It's just a fact of life. No one bats an eyelid. He goes around, cleans up the rubbish, everyone's happy. And he's on the road. Back home he'd be tooted and seen as a menace. And anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to coffee. Now, this bloke, I didn't ask him whether I could use his photo, so I've had to blank his face out. Now, this is a coffee. This is an iced coffee. You might talk about iced coffees back home, but you almost need a wheelbarrow for this iced coffee. Look at the size of it. Just one of the things I love about Thailand. Now, this is something different. Have a look at this. There's a place in Thailand. Imagine the uproar if this was in a Western setting. There's a very famous place in Bangkok, and it's in Sukhumvit Road. Can't quite remember the name of it. Maybe Condom Heaven or Condom something. But this is Father Christmas. He's made out of condoms. Can you imagine the uproar? Here's a bigger picture with his partnering angel. But everywhere in this place is a bit of a tourist attraction. Well, it's a tourist attraction for many years. And the lampshades, the wall decorations, picture hangings, the whole lot. It's all decorated with condoms. The fact that they're allowed to do this and no one bats an eyelid. It's one of the things I love about Thailand. Now have a look at this gander. This guy, I haven't asked for permission on this one either, so I've had to blank his face out. Spend $10, go to this lake in. This is actually up in Chiang Mai, and you can get some guy that will bring the burley, batter up your burley line, and if you can't cast, he'll throw it in the water and then give you the rod. So then you just tackle the fish, and when it comes in, he'll take it off the hook and he'll pick it up for you, put it in your arms, and take the picky and. For $10 for an outing for the day, all you do is catch the fish. That's one of the things I like about Thailand. Now, moving on, food. Look at this. This is awesome. This is in a restaurant that I've actually done a video about this. It's in Sukhumvit Road in down at Nana. Now, Galpad Guy and Pak Bung we got here. Basically chicken fried rice with what a spinach equivalent with a little bit of chilli on top. Now this is 110 baht, so that's about $3.30 for that. It's just another one of the things I like about Thailand. Moving on, I'm heavily into vegetables. This is from Chiang Mai market actually. Those bags are 5 kilos. We've got 5 kilos of tomatoes, beet in the front there, and we've got carrots. Now the tomatoes, current price for the tomatoes are about 50 baht. That's about $1.50, $1.80 or thereabouts for 5 kilos of tomatoes. The carrots, they're about anywhere between 50 and 90 baht. And the beet at the front, they're a little bit more expensive. They're about 80 baht to about 100, 110 baht. So you can get about 20 kilos of veggies here for about $10. It's ridiculous. And the cucumber there, I think you pick up a half a dozen of those for about 15 baht. Now you can go home and you can cut them up like this and present. We've got some fruit here, mangosteen. Buy a kilo of that for $1. Passion fruit, that's the same. Saprot at the back, which is pineapple, lime, and tomatoes and avocado. Now you can get a little bit fancy and go upmarket a bit, but this is just showing you the variety of the fruits that are in Thailand. It's just, and this is absolutely this is what I really do love about Thailand. Trust me, it's the food here it's the food bowl. Moving on to food, we're talking about cockroaches in the kitchens and dogs and cats and the whole bit. This is actually, can you imagine this being in the West? Food being displayed in the open, no cover on it. This is everywhere in Thailand. This is how most Thais eat. They eat off roadside stalls, and this is not actually a roadside stall. This happens to be, if I move on to there we go, that happens to be a side cart motorbike with a kitchen on it. So they've got the wok on the side cart, and you can just see over here the back of the bike, and there's the side cart wheel there. We've got food out in the open, and this would cause an absolute uproar. You've probably got a dog at the front there somewhere, and certainly got cockroaches that it's out in the open. It's Thailand. Guess what? No one dies. No one gets food poisoning. People eat from this all day, every day, and it just wouldn't happen in the West. And it's cheap. It's cheap food. It doesn't kill you. It's tasty, and you can go upmarket into a restaurant here and spend another 20 baht. But it's one of the things I love about Thailand. Now, how about a sign like this in the West? Can you imagine this going down well? The dollhouse, maybe 20 gorgeous, plus a lot of ugly girls and a few fat ones. Can you imagine the uproar that would cause with tree huggers in the West? You can't have a sign like that. You know, everyone just accepts it. It's no discrimination. It's not having to go at any one particular person in person. It's just they treat this sign as it is intended without personal assault. And it's just another one of the things that you'll see in Thailand, and the freedom to be able to do this without getting someone's nose out of joint because, oh, that's directed at me, I'm fat, or I'm not pretty, or it's honestly the sense of freedom in Thailand. It's you'll get here, you guaranteed you'll grow to love it. Now, this guy's a little bit ostentatious with his fake jewellery, but you can do that in Thailand. I just thought I'd throw that in because you can do that in Thailand and get away with it, and everyone just fits in. No one cares. That's just Thailand. I'm in Chiang Mai. This picture's in Chiang Mai, and Chiang Mai has an old city inside this river moat, whatever you want to call it. It's about 8 kilometres of river goes around the old city. Now, there is not one sign there that says if you put your foot in the water, stupid, you're going to get wet. It has one sign I noticed after being here for 12 months, one faded sign that says you don't swim in there, even though they swim in there anyway. But there's no 1.8 metre high fence around it. There's no kiddie lock gates on it. There's no sign every 2 metres to say, like if you dive in and stay under, you're going to drown, stupid. personal responsibility. This has been here for hundreds of years, and I don't know anyone that actually does get their feet wet, but I have actually seen some people swimming at that for sure, even though I have seen that sign that no one takes any notice of, that you're not supposed to swim in there. But it's about, in places, it'll be over 1 metre deep, 1.5, in the centre maybe 2 metres deep, I guess. So, yeah, it's a definite threat in the West, but there is no threat here. It's people use common sense, and that's a beautiful thing. This one I just picked just 3 on a bike. I tried to get 4 or 5 on a bike, which is a regular occurrence, but I missed the real traffic peak time. So I got this picture, and then I got this picture as 3 ladies on a bike sped past, but quite often they'll have a little baby sitting at the front there, and notice none of them have a helmet on, and even though you're supposed to wear helmets here, but you don't have the excuse of the policing back home where it saves lives and all the rest of it. Everyone just drives with common sense here, very little speeding, and they just putter around their day. Even though it looks going a little bit fast there, but that's not the point being made here. This is just one of the things I love about Thailand. You've got to take some people there, just jump on the bike, and the bike is the main source of transport for most people. So the whole family carries on there, so it's not unusual to see 3, 4 or 5 people on there. And the same in the back of the ute. You could have 20 people stacked on the back of that ute, and yeah, it just happens. Just one of the things I like about Thailand. And this guy's just going about his day. He was just happened to be driving past this same spot, riding past at this same spot. I told her to take the pick and include it, simply because he's just a functioning part of society. Everyone works here. There is no social security system. So, and I'll save this last photo, particularly last. This guy's smiling. Now, he's got a blanket there somewhere. He's got his coat on today, but it's shorts weather, but he's a little bit cold because it's November and it's beautiful weather here at the moment, and it gets a little bit cooler through to December, early January. Now, he's got a blanket there somewhere, and he's got a little tarpaulin, and he pulls over that, and that's his house. He sleeps there, he lives there, he makes his living there. That's where he lives. That's his spot. And if you look very closely, he's smiling, he's happy as. He hasn't got a full tooth in his head, and yet he's happy. He does what he does. He gets by, he fits in, he's contributing to society, and that's what I love about Thailand. Everyone just, it's just an awesome place. Anyway, that's there you have it. What I love about Thailand. This is video 1. Simply because there are so many other things here that I didn't include this video about why I love Thailand, or things that I love about Thailand. So I must get out there with specific shots so that I can bring them back to you and make another video for you. Check us out on our Facebook page, because there's always something happening there. You can find us on Facebook at the extension of Loving Thai Woman, or see the link below. If you've not checked out the other attractions that Thailand has, then do it now. This place is awesome, and so many things going for it. And particularly if you're a single man, then this place has everything going for it. If you're sitting on the fence about coming to Thailand and can't quite make up your mind, then don't miss the free videos of Thailand, the place of freedom, love and romance for the single men, the full story. Simply click the link below, which will take you to lovingthaiwoman.com.